What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
and today we are diving into Handmaid's Tale Season 3, Episode 6. Now, if you're just tuning in for the first time, I want to say welcome. If you're tuning back in, welcome back. Liam and I are not experts. We just really love entertainment, and that's why we've created this whole show, this whole channel. And thanks to you, almost 43,000 of you, we've been able to share that love with everyone. We love chatting about the actual episode itself, the character arcs, the different growth, maybe some of the twists and plots that may happen. A lot of predictions and theories that we do get some right, we do get some wrong, and we love to hear yours as well. The only thing that we ask is that in the comments below when you chime in, because that's how this all works, it's a big conversation, just don't spoil anything that's to come. As long as you can do that, your conversation is absolutely welcome, whether it's yelling at us that we're wrong or, welcoming your own opinion, whatever it may be. We look forward to it. But without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and we're going to dive right in.
So this episode, we get them going to DC.
Yeah.
What did you think of the very clear differences between the Handmaids in DC versus what? We're in Massachusetts?
Yeah. So, we're in Massachusetts normally for, the Waterfords and that level of command. However, so if you're just tuning in for the first time, I have seen Season 6. It was like an experiment that we did. I went in blind to see if I can get some things right. And you guys really enjoyed it. So we're going back through. So with that context, I already knew going into this episode that things were way worse in DC. Mm-hmm. And I already had an inkling that their mouths were covered. I didn't realize that they had actually physically sealed their mouths shut with rings. I thought that it was more of that cloth they had put over, like the symbolism they use with June later in the episode. Mm-hmm. So that was a bit of a shock to me that they are almost like, what was that awesome game back in the day? With Abe.
Abe?
Remember Abe? Abe Sapien? Oddworld. That's what it was called. Okay. Oddworld. When he has his mouth shut, sewn shut. Mm-hmm. Kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, I'm used to this by now. Watching Handmaid's Tale is a unique experience because majority of the cast are villains, right? Mm-hmm. They're evil people. But the nature of what we do is we dissect and we try to find the silver lining in everything we do anyway. And so we're always pulling these things apart and trying to find the things that we do like and the things that feel off. And so by the nature of all of that, I think that I'm getting used to when we have these conversations that this is just what Gilead does. Mm. In this universe, this is just par for the course. I don't think I was as shocked. I mean, it was a shocking thing to see, but I was like, oh, it makes sense. They're in Gilead. That's kind of where I went.
Okay. After watching it still the second time, it's still not just they're in Gilead kind of thing for me. It's still really...
The problem with me in this series, and I think it's the reason why I got so hung up at the end of Season 2, is I was allowing myself to get emotionally attached to certain characters and their journey. And yes, I get that what we're seeing on screen has happened historically, and so there are reasons to empathize. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was losing my love for the show because I was getting so attached to certain characters that I was just upset that they would do these things. Mm-hmm. And so I've just emotionally removed myself from the show, and I'm looking at it as a spectator now, just as someone who's analyzing things. Okay. And so for me, again, just more par for the course for Gilead.
Okay. So we get introduced to a new family when we get there. And how ironic is it that the guy who plays Elliot Stabler of SVU Law and Order, right? He's a fucking commander.
Don't know that show.
You've never seen Law and Order?
No.
SVU?
No, I know him from True Blood. That's where I know him from. He showed up for the beginning of a later season, played one of the lead vampires. And then I won't say what actually happens because I don't want to spoil that show. Phenomenal show. But yeah, that's how I know him, as a vampire.
I feel like for 20 or 30 years, he's been on SVU.
I don't really watch those shows that are just cookie cutter. You could show up and they don't really, there's no storyline. I don't really watch those. I'd rather go watch some ridiculous reality TV show that I know is scripted than watch that, to be honest. Or I'm going full fantasy, full what we do on a regular basis.
Gotcha. He also had this really weird show where he hallucinated when he died as a detective.
Oh, with the blue horse.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy.
Yes.
Yes.
He was also in that. I liked him in that.
I've only seen like maybe 20 minutes of like the first 20 minutes of that movie, and then I just couldn't keep going.
But it feels like when we're in this house, or his house, that they are way more strict outside, but it seems like they're way more lenient with the family inside, minus the servants.
It seems like that's the same thing you see in Boston too. It's more of the Gilead command being above what they say, right? They everyone else must follow these rules, but we get a pass because we're in charge. That's really what Gilead is. It's just hypocrite, like hypocrite stepped on hypocrite. It's just like a hypocrite pyramid. But what I thought was eye-opening in this is the wife. That's the difference, I thought. She is openly, like, I don't think Serena would be so openly bold to tell another person that she's read her book. Mm-hmm. The wife was. And I don't know if it's because he's a high commander, so that gives her a little bit more of a cushion. Obviously, it gives them a lot more kids, a lot more variety in their handmaids, a lot more time with handmaids, because every one of those kids was clearly from a different woman. And so he's been a high commander for a while. That family's been building for a minute. So they have more privilege. I get that. But still, that was the one thing that threw me off more than, like, that felt out of place, that felt different than Boston, was the wife.
Okay. I get swinger vibes from them because when they're playing, Fred and him are playing pool, and the way he just, like, very confidently puts his hand on him.
Yeah. I also, watching that scene, felt that there was more than just a friendly gesture going on there. Like, that the level of contact that was going into that, and just he like reaches across his body to his other shoulder, rubs it, like the level of like contact that's an intimate, creepy. Yeah, it's an intimate situation that he created during that pool scene while Fred's bent over trying to do a shot. So yeah, the symbolism's all there. I felt it too. The wife, though, I guess because she's so open and bubbly, I don't know. I've seen movies where like that's how the swinger family is, so I guess I could make those connections. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you know more than I do about this. I don't even know if there are swingers in Gilead, but I think that's probably against what the Lord believes.
We got Jezebels.
Like I'm saying, I'm just saying what it should be.
All right. So one of the pieces I want to make sure we talk about, so I don't forget, because this one stood out to me so freaking much, was Aunt Lydia. When June and her having a conversation, and she's like, do you really want us all to be silenced?
Yeah.
How much Aunt Lydia was like trying to hold back the whole time from crying. And I think she even did cry in the scene, but they didn't emphasize it very much. But she was so sad, hurt. And I feel like she was questioning things there for a little bit, or at least that's what I'm hopeful feeling inside when I watch her do these things, is she's questioning.
Yeah. Aunt Lydia is a true believer, which allows her to inflict great violence and have a clear conscience because of it, because she believes she is doing something for a greater good for the her Lord and for Gilead at the end of the day. But her reactions in this episode show humanity through, like I think you're mentioning, when she first gets there and realizes one of the handmaids' like mask had fallen down.
She pulls it down just a little bit.
Well, I think it was like kind of down, and she realizes it, and then she pulls it down just a little bit more to see what it was, and then lifts it back up, because it was sticking out just a little bit to like catch her eye, and I think that's what brought her over to like look at that specific one.
She like gasped.
Yeah, she realized what was going on there. Because she's in Boston. That's why I think it's kind of funny. I'll talk about that in a minute. But she's so far removed in Boston that she can be faith blind, right? She can be ignorant to what's going on around her because she's blinded by it, and she can just keep her faith here. That's what I mean by what I say. And so she uses her faith as blinders to not be able to see. She just sticks, like, basically nose down, do your job. Don't pay attention to what's going on up there. And then everything's okay. And she even kind of mentions that when she's talking to June in the room, where she goes, I just want to go home. I just want to go back to back to where everything makes sense, basically. That to me just kind of further proved to me that it is her dedication to her belief and her dedication to her work that keeps her alive, that keeps her who Aunt Lydia is, which is why we see her in some cases show great affection, but then also show great violence to that same person. Janine being a great example of that. But no, Aunt Lydia is one of the most complex characters in this series, right? And so that's probably why I find her to be one of my favorites to really have on camera. Plus, she's such a phenomenal actress. She does such a great job.
Yeah, she definitely does. All right. So you would have thought that June would have learned her lesson from, what was it, the Brazilian delegation that she attempted to seek help from, and now she's dealing with it all over again with Swiss?
Isn't that season 6?
Huh?
Doesn't she talk to the Mexican government in season 6?
Is
Yeah, I think you're confusing the end of the story with the beginning of the story.
Yeah. To me, it's kind of all starting to blend together.
Maybe not. Because we have seen the end, and we have been doing this for a while.
I feel like it's season 2.
Maybe it is earlier on. Because it's in the house that's burnt down. That she talks to her in that kitchen.
Yeah.
So yes, you are correct. It was earlier on.
Unless it was a flashback.
But either way, yes. She has not had any help from outside sources, outside governments. Tulo, the CIA guy, has been the only one who's been trying to offer any kind of help to anybody in Gilead that we've seen. And so, yeah, I don't know why she thought she was going to get help. And Nick went into that meeting. So I'm curious, did he just change his mind? Did he not give any good information? Did they said they changed their mind based on who he was. So when he went in there, did he share how he knew this stuff? And they were like, oh, well, you were basically a sword for Gilead. You're the reason this whole thing even works. You were on the front line when this thing started, so we don't want you.
Well, June even asked Serena straight up, what did Nick do?
Yeah. And she's sold her for the crusade, right?
Yeah, essentially that he is the only reason Gilead exists today was because of his work that he did.
So there's probably some much deeper meaning.
Some real dark shit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's why there's probably some much deeper meaning in what he said to June when June asked him to do this whole thing with the government, with the Swiss government. He said, you don't know what getting in bed with the government does. Like, it's
Crazy.
Much deep, like, it's much deeper ties and harder to get out of.
That was also in the last episode of Alien Earth as well. Morrow.
Yeah. He finally starts to talk about the price he paid for that arm and for the cyborg pieces.
Yeah, he's like, everything doesn't even begin to cover it.
When he's talking to Hermit. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now, yeah. I love that series.
It brought me right back to that.
I think there's a much more deeper meaning. He's literally speaking from experience to June in that moment, rather than like what he's scared may happen. He's like, no, I've already experienced this once. And I'm thinking that's like us connecting the dots of
why he's an ally.
Why he is what Serena says he is. The reason that Gilead even exists today. I'm thinking that he was inside the U.S. government.
Had to do a lot of atrocities.
And that's where he originates his being the spy. And then when he successfully helps them overthrow the government, the high commander of the network of spies there, their eyes adopts him in. I think, because he was looking for work when he first met him, so maybe not.
Yeah, this is a lot of the things that we see with Nick is why I've always just maybe assumed or made the connection in my head that he's military. Like,
he's served. He has to have if he was in the crusade.
Well, that's Gilead stuff. What I'm thinking about prior to that.
Well, in this episode, because the last episode I said I wasn't really sure if Gilead had an army, but in this episode, the Swiss guy confirmed, or the Canadian guy confirmed, we don't want to fuck with Gilead's army. Like, they have a serious military force.
Well, look at the U.S. Like, we have a strong U.S. military force in presence everywhere in the world, right? And it would be no different if the country got taken over and became Gilead, right? So we're going off the same U.S.
Yeah.
So it would stand to reason that they'd still have all that military equipment and soldiers.
So then I think I struggle with it because I would have to then accept that 8 million people turn their lives over to the Lord in such a faithful way that they would join up with Gilead and then wreak atrocities across the world.
It's happened countless times.
I know. So when we watch Handmaid's Tale, I would say that for every 10 people we meet, one of them is a non-believer. So if you built an army of people who did not believe in the cause they are fighting for, that's not a very effective army. But I'm getting too real about this. So anyway, let's move on.
Right. How'd you feel seeing the Lincoln Memorial like destroyed the way it was?
I was actually more shocked at the cross, them turning the Washington Memorial into a cross.
I'm sorry. That stuff really disgusts me, seeing that kind of thing. It's like when remember when we drove from Memphis to come out here to Arizona and I showed you the freaking Statue of Liberty holding up the cross? That shit drove me fucking crazy living in Memphis.
Is Memphis the Bible Belt? Is that considered part of the Bible Belt?
I guess it's still part of it.
Yeah. My only experience of Memphis was flying in, getting a U-Haul, and driving you here. So that was it. That was my only experience in Memphis. So I don't really know. But yeah, so the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Monument has been destroyed and or altered in many, many famous movies. Planet of the Apes, Transformers, so that wasn't too shocking, right? I've seen that many times. The conversation between June and Serena in front of that monument was fire. Those ladies left nothing on the table. They were lashing out at each other. Should have let you burn. Oh shit. Okay. That was fun. But yeah, as far as the Gilead flags all over the place and the banners hanging everywhere and very Third Reich reminders, total Third Reich everywhere is what I was thinking the whole time. But yeah, the only one that really stood out to me that was one, that's physically impossible. And then two, that would never, it doesn't make sense to have that. Believe what you want, but I don't think that having a religion run a country has never been a good idea, ever. And so that's just too much power to one set of people. And if those people aren't constantly rotating out every 6 months to a new set of people with new ideas, then we're fucked. So yeah, other than that, I don't think DC was too disturbing. I expected everything closer to the Capitol to be more Gilead, more extreme. But we only really got to see inside the commander's home and then inside where they were doing the interviews. And so we really didn't get to see, other than the mouth being closed.
And the airport. They had the weird red circle for them. It's like a staging area for Handmaids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much more ordered, much more strict, authoritarian.
Way more militarized.
Yeah, militant. That's the word I was looking for in the Capitol. But yeah, those were the things that really stood out for me there, other than people have more privilege, they have more kids, they have bigger houses, things like that.
Last thing I want to ask you about, just because I don't want to miss it, is the whole scene when Nick first shows up and Fred's like, why don't you step in for me? What were you thinking when that was going on?
I love the actor who plays Fred because he speaks so much with his face that I'm drawn to watch him when he's on screen. He has this way of contorting and weaseling his face that it's evil. Because when he turns and notices Nick's there, did you notice that half-cocked evil smile he gets? And then he's like, hey,
thinking, oh, I'm doing something clever.
Calls him son, but digging in on him the whole time. That I love. But why? Nick showing up there makes no fucking sense.
He's still waiting on orders, he said. But he's still in love with June.
Right, that's the only reason to publicly show everyone he loves June. It would be the only reason he shows up there.
Even when he's up there, he does the little hand thing too, right in front of everyone.
And then chooses to sneak in and see her later at night. You could have just went and saw her at night and no one would have known. So, again, some of this shit, whatever. But
maybe it's for drama. Maybe it's for Nick to get his little jabs back at Fred.
That whole scene could have went off exactly the same without Nick in it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, Nick's also a favorite.
To some. I think the more I get to really know his decisions, the less I like him.
Okay.
I liked him in season 6. And I know, because I know he makes some pretty bad decisions there too, but I liked him in season 6 compared to what I knew of Luke at that time. I was like, I would choose Nick over Luke at that time, but I am not of that belief anymore now that I have way more context to the two gentlemen.
So I feel like both those characters, Luke and Nick, the whole time we go through the series, you kind of like get these moments where it's like, I love this dude or I hate this dude. And it just kind of flip-flops over and over. There's just certain periods in the series where you're going to either love them or hate them.
I haven't, now that I have context to Nick, I don't think I can look back and say I like any of his decisions. Like he's very selfish, doesn't do anything that doesn't directly help him, and is willing to hurt the people closest to him that he loves.
I'm just thinking you're going to hurt a lot of feelings down down the comments where people love Nick.
Listen, I'm here to share how I feel.
I know.
So they can share how they feel. Not to sugarcoat things so you like me. That's not my job. But yeah, I no longer have that same level of appreciation for him that I once did.
Okay.
So Liam and I have been thinking, since we're going back through an older season, many of you have asked, can we do more episodes? Can we do it faster? And really we can't. We do other shows. We're doing shows that are actually airing live right now. So that means we have to wait for it to drop, then review it. So it's very time sensitive, where this one we can kind of review at our leisure, which is why we've been doing it the way we've been doing it. But we also notice that you really love when we do the live discussions for this. And many of you have asked to change the live times and to also give you more episodes. And so we had an idea how everyone can win and we can give you all of it. And so we want to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. How would you feel if we did a full season at a time? Liam and I would watch the shows, take notes, get our full reviews ready, and then we would shoot that whole section live with you guys. So instead of just doing these videos and sharing episode by episode, we would have a full season 3, season 4, season 5 discussion live with you, breaking down episode by episode, what we liked, what we didn't like, character arcs, things like that. And you guys can chime in as well because you'll be live with us. And so let us know what you think about that idea. And if enough of you enjoy that, then we'll find a best time and date and we'll start setting it up so that we can do it that way. And then, give you guys what you're looking for, because we definitely want to make sure that you're getting the most value out of this channel. Just because we're talking about it doesn't mean we don't want to hear what you have to say as well. And we really do love those lives. So I think this will be the best win for all of us. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Really appreciate you guys tuning in this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. And we'll have plenty of videos for you right here to keep joining us on the journey. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.